Have you ever felt like this? Where you write something only to realize the predictable trash that it is? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you one technique that is going to change everything for you. This one technique is going to allow you to come up with unpredictable plot twists and constantly keep your readers guessing. So before we go into the actual technique and how to mindstorm, I'm going to give you a quick introduction to it. Mindstorming was developed by a self-development guru named Brian Tracy. And I first came across this about 6 years ago, and personally in the self-development niche, it has helped me tremendously in my life. Now, when COVID hit, I decided to kind of rekindle my romance with writing. And I looked at an old work in progress and I was devastated. My story, even though it was so well written, it was predictable. Everything needed to change. The plot, I needed to add depth to my characters. I needed to add tension in places. The truth is I needed to keep my readers guessing. There are a lot of things about my story that I absolutely love. Maybe some tropes you've seen before. But at the end of the day, I don't want my readers to feel like, oh my gosh, I've seen this story before. How do you add an unforgettable plot twist? And by applying this one technique, I was able to make each scene feel like something I had never seen before. Now, mindstorming is going to sound a lot like brainstorming. In fact, it's very similar. The biggest difference is that usually you don't have a team of experts that you can bring into your own little head and have a discussion with and say, hey, what is the best way to do this in an interesting way? And you have all of these people get together and they comment and everyone agrees and you walk out with one solid strategy. As writers, we don't have that. For the most part, if this is your first novel, no one's really going to know your world and your characters the way you do. Thus, mindstorming. Mindstorming is the individual's way to brainstorm. And here is how to do it. All right, so step number 1 for mindstorming is to get out a blank piece of paper and a pen. This is no technology, no distractions, nothing. Set aside a handful of minutes where it's just you and that pen and that paper. Number 2 is at the top of this piece of paper, write a very specific question. In my example, I ask, how does Naeli discover her powers? So this is my main character. I have magic in my book and I'm saying, okay, so the first time she realizes she could fiddle faddle and something happened, how did she do that? Next, on that piece of paper with that one question at the top and nothing else, number it from 1 to 20. Number 3, start answering your question. You're going to come up with 20 responses. Now here's a very, very important tip. While you're doing this, do not judge the quality of answers. Number 4, judge. So we are going to be using my example to kind of help you understand how I select the content that I've decided on. And you're not allowed to judge my 20, okay? No judgy judges out there. I'm looking at you. Don't judge me. Okay, so the first answer I put on here is that she developed it during a freak accident. How many times have we seen something where a superpower is revealed because the character accidentally did something? Oops. Yeah, I think this is the main way every X-Men discovers their powers is through a freak accident. I'm gonna cross this one out because I've seen it and I've seen it a lot. It's the first thing that came to my mind because it's predictable. Second is that she accidentally discovers it while she's meditating. So my character in general is very big on doing yoga and meditation So this was more something that was very predictable for my specific character. But that's the thing. Number 2, predictable. Scratch it out. Okay, so number 3 is she gets overly emotional and it just happens. Again, I've seen it where people have lost self-control, and through that, a accidental power has come about. They accidentally set something on fire, or they choke someone, or whatever the case may be, but I've seen it before. Cross it out. Oh, number 4, she's in a bad situation and she just wishes it into existence. Now, I haven't seen this often, and usually the few times I have seen it, it's been done poorly. That doesn't mean that there's not some merit to it. So I'm just gonna put a little star next to it. I'm not crazy about it, but it's certainly not as predictable as the other 3. It just could really have some plot issues with it later on. So number 5, she was told about an object that could give her powers, and then she must now go on a quest to make it work. We've seen this way too much. Cross it out. Okay, number 6, it calls to her, tempting her to use it. So my story is an epic dark fantasy, and there's something very odd and intriguing about this. And you're gonna notice as I continued down the list, I kind of kept this one in the back of my mind as I was thinking of ways to make it work, because I was really intrigued. Now I'm gonna circle the number completely, just because I'm really sold on that idea. And you can see as we get down further that I was kind of sold on this tempting, almost different entity. A stranger gives her an object to use it. Why? Why is a stranger gonna be like, you, over there, here's an object, use it? Because it's magical and I don't want magical things for myself. That kind of falls into that stereotypical mentor. Cross it out. Number 8 is that somebody hints to her that her mother once used this magical object and maybe she could too. So then she has to set out on a quest and find an object. No. Number 9, the staff. So I guess somehow I've decided that the magical object is a staff during this. So the staff refuses to give power to people unless it's her. Again, I kind of like the staff having its own mind, almost making its own decisions for itself, but only her, that's a little too she is the one for me. So crossing that out. Number 10 is the staff requires a sacrifice before using it. That's not the most unique thing if you think about ancient cultures and sacrificing people or goats or whatever. But usually magical objects don't require things like that. So I feel like this is interesting. I feel like I could do something with that. So I'm going to circle it. And number 11 is she figures out how to use her magical abilities before her home is attacked. I like it allowing her to see and warn her that her home is going to be attacked. I'm going to put a star by it because I don't entirely love everything about this, but I think I can work it in an interesting way. So instead of circling it because I love it, I'm going to put a star by it and I'm going to think on it some more. I just don't oh, this is too easy. This is perfect timing. That's weird. Her Forelai grandmother returns and kind of introduces her more to their world, maybe to some people, a soothsayer, maybe the staff. I don't know. Again, I feel like it might be a little too she's the chosen one. So I'm going to put a star by it. I don't love it, but I might be able to work it in somehow. Number 13 is previous soothsayers visit her as a ghost and teach her how to use an ability. Pretty cool. But plot hole-ish. So why would they come specifically to her if she's not the chosen one? Why haven't they done this previously in her past? I'm crossing it out. I will say though, as you notice, as we get down this list, we're crossing out less and less often. Number 14 is that she goes and travels to the Forelai camp and takes the staff. I like her taking action like this, but again, it feels a little too quest-ish, like she must go and retrieve the item. But I love like the idea of her like marching in to this world and like, I don't know, maybe like tricking them or betraying them or stealing it, something kind of outside of her character. I kind of like that because it's not very predictable. I'm gonna star that one. Oh, and here we go. So number 14 is where I hit my roadblock. I probably came up with the first ones in like 5 to 8 minutes. Didn't take me very long. I was just, now 14 to 15, I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? But I think this is where the magic happens right here, is when you start struggling. And then you kind of subconsciously go back to the things that you liked and you start piecing more of it together. So number 16 is some kind of like bargain, bribery, something to do with her, the staff, and then this like soothsayer that I've decided on. I'm gonna circle it, I like it. 17, she sells her soul to gain its powers. I don't like it because either you're not going to keep your promise, as this is the rules of the magic system. She sold her soul. She uses its powers. So either you're going to make her lose her soul and have an unhappy ending, or you're going to find some plot hole to make it work. So I don't like that one entirely because I do want a happy ending. Okay, so number 18 is maybe she knows she has the powers, but she's reluctant to use the staff because of its evil nature. So maybe something happened in her backstory and she knows she has these powers, but she's always suppressed them because she can feel there's something evil within using the powers. I like that. Circling. So 2 more, guys. Ooh, I like this one. 19. Must start as like a slave to the staff before being able to learn how to command it. Yep, that gets a circle. And number 20, number 20, number 20. Trust me, you're gonna want to dance like me once you get to number 20 because it's like, I did it, freedom, I can eat lunch now. Okay, and this kind of goes into this like, again, number 20 is building onto like the things that I subconsciously really liked about my list. And it's that she must sacrifice parts of herself to make this work. So maybe like blood magic, maybe dark magic, maybe she, in order to have visions, she must sacrifice either her sanity, making her more and more insane, or maybe her body parts, like she has to cut off a finger, or maybe just sacrificing animals and she's an animal lover and refuses to do that. I don't know, but I like it. I'm not gonna say I'm 100% sold on the sacrifice thing. I'm gonna star it, not circle. So at the end we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 circles. So 6 ideas that I can really kind of juggle or piece together and make happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 stars that like I kind of like, but I might have to change something about it to really make it feel like my story. And then the rest just scratch, like meh, meh. I don't know. I have to say I'm really excited about this. I want you to try it just one time. Look at something that you want to maybe redo in your own work. Give Mindstorming a shot and tell me in the comments below what you did, how you did it, if it was beneficial, if you have any questions, whatever the case may be, guys, let's talk about it. Let's nail this kind of stuff down. If you're an aspiring author and you're looking for more tips and techniques on how to improve your storytelling, I want you to check out my channel. If it's something you're interested in, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell,